So a few years ago now, I started working on this GS750. It started out with an idea to swap in a Ducati single-sided swing arm, and everything kind of escalated from there to be this project where I've obsessed over pretty much every single detail of this bike. I recently finished a new exhaust, but I haven't had a chance to hear it yet because there's a bit more work that needs to be done before we fire it up. The carbs need to be rebuilt and the ignition wasn't working properly, so while I've been waiting on some parts, I've just been finishing up some of the smaller details of the bike. I put in some new hardware, we 3D printed a battery cover, and I'm about to start on one of the last pieces of this bike, which is swapping over to a hydraulic clutch. So originally when I did the swing arm swap, I had to get a new sprocket that was quite a bit wider to match the swing arm, which meant I needed to make a new clutch cover. I reused the stock cable driven clutch and it kind of worked, but I didn't really like it. It was very stiff to pull and I don't really trust it for safety reasons, so I decided to switch to a hydraulic clutch. I ordered a new hydraulic clutch as well as a Brembo master cylinder, and my first step is to throw that all on the bike, get it all working. So I made a new clutch cover and I'm going to be mounting that to that, try and get everything working on the bike. Take we got it. Okay, so we took off the clutch that I had working there, and I got this new one. This is from a Ducati, and it actually came with this piece on it, but it's slotted, so not sure how that's gonna work yet. Took it apart, just got to look at it, and first we have to figure out how this thing works. It basically just needs to push this shaft inward to be able to engage or disengage the clutch. So we're gonna connect it to this Brembo lever with the line, bleed it, see how it all works, and then see how we can connect it. I also found this reservoir off AliExpress, nice and clean, just like sits right on top. Doesn't seem to line up quite properly, so I gotta see if I can swap out this bracket, but get that on there for now.
It's close to final size.
That's awesome, man. And then somebody's like, why didn't you use this one? Nobody said that. It's all about being. Man, I always get so nervous when I have to move this bike in and out of the truck by myself, but we got it in there successfully and it is a beautiful day. The sun is shining, so I'm happy. So welcome to my new garage and the new workspace where I can get this bike done. Pretty sweet having my own little shop here. All the floor is currently rubber because this is doubling as my gym setup, but I'm probably going to rearrange this, kind of make this front my work area, take up this rubber here, and just turn the back into my gym. So yeah, should be pretty sweet. And it's also really cool seeing this bike off of the stand and down on the ground. I picked up this paddock stand. This is from Pitbull. It's nice because you can use it on either side. It's got a pin for both sides and you can use it frontwards or backwards, which is really nice. So yeah, over the next little while I'm gonna be setting up this shop, but first priority still is to get this bike running and all working. So I had the clutch installed and it was all kind of working, but one thing I noticed was that the plate was actually flexing a little bit just because it didn't have enough reinforcement. So I ended up welding a rib onto it just so that I had a little bit more strength going both directions. And now we have the clutch cover here that I can throw on the bike, get it installed. We got the whole rib welded on there and it should be good to go. So I'm gonna bolt up this clutch, try it out and see if we can get this whole thing working. All right, check this out. The hydraulic clutch is installed on the bike there. I think it looks pretty sick. We got this Brembo master cylinder as well, which looks super cool with that little reservoir. I just need to make a new mount for this, but it seems to be working, which is cool. When I pull the clutch, you get pretty much no flexing of that plate and you can see it kind of pushing the rod in. And I tested it and it was working to disengage the wheels. So it's really nice having that done and installed on the bike, knowing it's working. I feel a lot better about that. I might need to tweak it a little bit. The one thing you don't get with this hydraulic clutch is the adjustability that you get with the mechanical, because you never really have to adjust them. So the way I'm gonna adjust this one is just to shim it in or out a little bit and try and find the right spot where it's completely off when you're not pulling the lever, but completely disengaged when you are pulling it. So yeah, we'll just have to play around with that. But clutch is done, which feels really good. That leads me to the last part, which is getting these carbs installed on the bike. I had dropped these off to a local shop called Bent Bike, and they rebuilt these for me and got them all rejetted for the bike, which should suit it a lot better. They were leaking a ton of fuel and they weren't quite right. So yeah, they should be good to go now, and I'm excited to see if we can get this bike running and most of all how that exhaust is gonna sound. So let's try and get these installed and see if we can get this thing working. All right, so carbs are on there, got the fuel line hooked up, and that should be the last piece, I think, to get this bike working. So let's see, I'm gonna put some gas in this and let's hope that it fires right up. This is always one of the parts where I feel the most nervous because it all comes down to this, but I'm really excited to see if this thing runs, and I haven't heard this exhaust yet. So yeah, let's see how this exhaust sounds and if the bike all runs and works. Okay, wow, it all works and we got it to run, which is sick. Sounds so cool with this exhaust. That was the first time I was able to hear it fired up after making that new exhaust, so it's nice to know that everything works. The jets that are in the carbs are just a guess for now, so we'll probably have to do some proper tuning on that later, but huge milestone ticked off the list to be able to have this thing running and working. That feels really good. I really want to take this thing for a ride, but unfortunately it's all wet outside, so I will probably just tinker with it a little bit more, make sure everything's buttoned up and nothing's gonna fall apart, and then hopefully soon I can take it for a ride, test it all out, and do some proper tuning on these carbs. So yeah, I'm so happy to have this thing running and have it all come together and hear it fired up again. It's been a long time since I've heard it run. So yeah, we're getting really close. Couple tiny little things on this bike and then it'll be pretty much done. All right, so I went and buttoned up what I could on the bike, fixed a few little things, and I'm ready to synchronize the carbs now, make sure this bike is running properly. So I'm gonna pull it out of the garage, warm it up a little bit, and then throw on this synchronizing tool. This is just a Motion Pro Sync Pro. So I'm gonna throw that on the carbs, try and get them running properly, and then take it for a ride. Looks like that ride isn't happening yet, guys. I'm having a misfire on one of my cylinders. You can see right here, this one is still kind of silver while the rest of the three have turned gold from a little bit of heat discoloration, and this one is cool enough that I can touch it. So don't think this cylinder is firing properly. I'm gonna pull this spark plug, see if we're getting spark, and try and figure out why I'm not running on all four cylinders. I don't know why the bike isn't running properly. It seems to be getting spark at all of the spark plugs. I had found a wire that was unplugged for one of the ignition coils. Thought that would be it, plugged it in, and it seems to be running worse. So don't know what's going on. I double checked that my wiring is routed correctly. It seems right. I'm getting spark, I've got fuel, and now the bike is just like not running at all. So I probably would just need to dive into all of this a whole bunch, but I think what I might do is finish all the other pieces on the bike and try and get this into the bike shop where they probably have a much better idea than I do, and they'll be able to get it fixed much faster. So I'm just gonna work on the last pieces of the bike, button everything up, and send it over to them, and hopefully they can figure out without me dumping a whole bunch of time into chasing this. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Thanks, man. I feel like people like plenty of details. So it is finally tuning day, at least I hope. I got an availability at Bent Bike and we got the bike loaded up here. This shop has been like so busy lately, so it's been really tough to try and find a time to get this bike in there, but we're getting it in today, so hopefully they can fix all the stuff that I just couldn't, and we'll get this thing running and driving in really good shape. So we're gonna go drop it off now, and let's see what this thing can do. All right, here we are. I left the bike for a couple weeks and they got it on the dyno, got it all tuned, and gonna take it for a ride. So everything kind of worked pretty good. There's a few things we got to work out, but had to kind of like rebuild the carbs a bit. They were not getting all the gas. So yeah, gonna hop on this thing and take it for a little ride. Sounds good. I'll take it for a little loop. Alright, that's quicker than I thought. Not bad. Sounds sweet as well. Sounds like a jigsaw, hey? Like, yeah. It sounds really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Better than I thought it would. And like, it's actually quicker than I thought it would be as well.
Yeah, any of the 4-cylinder stuff goes pretty good.
Yeah.
Everybody who's seen it's been like stoked on it.
Really?
Like, tons of customers be like, oh, it's finally nice to not see one that's just like a chopped up shitty CX500 or something like that. So yeah, people are like, oh, is that factory? And like,
cool. Oh, that's awesome.
There's like got a new bike, and I'm like, no, it's older, but yeah, he's been working on it a long time.
That's really cool to hear.
So yeah.
I pulled off to the side of the road really quick just to tell you how good it feels to finally ride this thing, to hear it running, to be on it and accelerate and feel how good it pulls. This thing is actually a lot faster than I thought it would be. I thought being an older bike, I had never ridden this bike before, and thought being an older bike it was kind of slower, but once you get up in the RPMs it sounds unreal, sounds kind of like a Gixxer, and it pulls. So yeah, I'm so happy to have this thing running. I mean, look at it, this bike is sick. This has been a long time coming, but the bike is finally running on its own and driving. Still a little bit to work out. I think the engine's a little bit old and tired. Compression tested okay, but not great. Some of the cylinders are a little bit low, and because of that and these performance carbs, they're a little bit big, so it stutters a bit when you go on the throttle too quickly. And it doesn't help that this throttle is actually quite aggressive. Like the throw is only a tiny little bit, so I might try and like get a bit smaller cam for this, and that might help a little bit. But I either got to look at maybe refreshing this engine to get it running really good, but it still runs good and drives really good and it's quick. This exhaust sounds awesome, which is really cool. I'll try and get you some better shots in a future video of how good it sounds. But yeah, the bike is working. Let's go. Been many years to get it to this point. A couple little details I got to finish probably in the next video. I bought a Brembo brake master to match this side, so we're gonna throw that on. Chain guard, I've 3D printed a prototype, but I got to make one out of steel. Powder coat a little couple pieces, and all just small stuff, but man, we made it this far to where the bike is running and driving. I'm thankful for the guys at Bent Bike for tuning it all, getting it done. Took us a lot of time to get here, but we're here, and the bike is all working, so I'm happy. I'll do probably one more video of just like all the final pieces, but for the most part this bike is done.